Business with a servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Inspiration, motivation takes. Listen to the podcast. We're all about to talk about life. Our guests will share their life story. We want you to success in life and business. We're ready and we will start shortly. We're gonna talk about life. We're going to speak on business. You're gonna shine bright. We are going to witness. Business with a servant's heart. With hosts Steve, Ramon, and Ray. Inspiration, education talks. Listen to the podcast.
Welcome to the world of a business owner, juggling a whirlwind of responsibilities 2 to 5 years into the journey. Now, envision the transformative power of a mentor guiding you towards efficiency, fostering communication skills, and setting realistic goals. This mentor is the key molding a successful, profitable, socially conscious company. Harness the power of mentorship and let your business thrive. BrainShare Business Mentors is one of the top 10 mentoring firms in the San Francisco Bay Area. Let us help you build the business of your dreams. Select your path and get started today.
Welcome, everyone, to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart podcast. Doing business in life with a purpose. Serving others, yes, and achieving success. I'm your host, Steve Ramona. We created this show for you because we want everyone who is listening or watching to be motivated, inspired, and educated to make an impact in your world. Not just the world, but your world, which you have control of. I want you to think about, as you listen to my awesome guest today, how will you serve today? And what impact will you create with that service today? And if you want, reach out to me and send me a note and tell me how that worked for you. I'd love to hear all those service stories and how you're serving people. Thank my two sponsors, BrainShare.us, drive business success sustainably with BrainShare Business Mentors, where your business flourishes and your vision comes to life. Check out the link in the show notes. And then pitchdb.com. Be a guest on over 3 million podcasts, speak at over 11,000 conferences, and much more. Build your thought leader platform with an incredible opportunity to show who you are. With that being said, as I always say, serving and impact go together. And met this gentleman a couple of months ago, maybe it was a little shorter, but we've really connected because he's going to talk about one word. We're going to start to show off with that and how important it is. And please take notes because this is going to be full of education. Jackson, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Steve. Super honored to be here today.
Vision. We got vision. I just got classes 4 or 5 weeks ago, so I had better vision. But let's expand on the vision with business. How's that look and what's that look like?
I love that. Well, as you know, you're one of my guests on Vision Pros Live. And there's a lot of reasons why we called the show Vision Pros Live. Most importantly of which is I believe that everybody on this earth is a visionary. Everybody has a vision. Even if, life's beat you up or friends and family have told you your goals are dumb or something of that nature, there is a vision. There's a purpose within you that you want to unlock. And it may be associated with business and it may not be. If you've gone the business route, then of course your vision's associated with it. So we feature visionary leaders. They could be like Kareem Abdel-Naga, who's a 30 under 30 Forbes education sector influencer. And they could be, John Smith, who's or John Doe, nobody's heard of, but is a fantastic leader, has a great vision to serve others. We want him on the show.
I love that you said about vision is professional, and I'm going to change the words, and personal. I talk about that a lot with businesses. I know you do too. I don't know if there's a balance, but talk about your vision, how it has to be appropriate on both sides of your life, personal and professional.
It's a big part of it. We love to feed people what they want so that they can move towards what they need. It's kind of a play on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Right. If you're hungry, but somebody throat punches you, you don't care how much food you want. You need oxygen, right? Business owners, they need leads. They need their brand distributed. They need somebody to close sales and all that. I really get it. They don't really want to listen to anything else until they have that, because business is hard and scaling is hard. So we do a good job I'd say we do a good job of putting people on stage, allowing them to potentially attract our audience. And based on how well they do, they may get a couple of bucks out of it, right? They may get a couple of deals. In fact, I bought an $1,800 product from one of my guests live on the show. He had no idea I was going to do that. I didn't know for sure, but he pitched. And when he pitched, what he pitched made a lot of sense. And it was a great solution. It helped us a lot. It's called Flow Chat with Sean Malone. So again, I highly recommend it for people who are at the stage where they know their strategy can benefit from that. That said, to tie back to what your point is, when people go through our program and they get fed, again, I'll do this with my kids too. I'll feed them a bite of dessert so they'll eat their vegetables, right? It's whatever we can do to get the people to do the right things. These people opening vape shops on every corner, I don't think that's aligned with their purpose. I just don't. The people who are, I love Rich Dad, Poor Dad. But if you're going out and you're just launching laundromats and opening those up because that's the smart thing to do, you may be robbing yourself of some of the greater experiences in life. There may be something deeper there. So we have what's called a passions assessment. And in the passion assessment, which is tied to passionpro.org, every single one of my team members and every single one of the clients we work with will end up filling this out. And it is amazing to see how many fantastic leaders and fantastic entrepreneurs get finished with that self-assessment, which takes 20 to 45 minutes, and go, oh my gosh, we need to adjust our funnel. Oh my gosh, we need to adjust our approach. And it's not driven because I told them to do it. It's because of a self-discovery they made, where they end up aligning back to what's truly most important to them. The assessment's phenomenal. So yes, I do believe it goes hand in hand. It's just hard to get business owners to stop worrying so much about the finances to dive in and get that self-awareness. So
it's especially startups. It's like, hey, I just borrowed $250,000. I got to spend this wisely. But the vision could be the best spend you can make going through somebody like you. And then everything just takes off. It's the unknown that people see. Yeah.
It's amazing.
So the journey of vision is purpose. That's that. Once you see your vision, now the purpose is tied to it. Tell us how that works.
Well, I believe in a system that's, for me, it's been proven by a number of different brands. In fact, you can look at most major brands and see that they had a phenomenal vision in place. So Disney's an example of that. Mm-hmm. And most of you listening in, what I hear happen in the market, maybe I'm wrong, but I see this on LinkedIn. People are pitching products and services to me right out the gate. They want me to buy it. They try to give references. They talk about the case studies and blah, blah, blah. Nobody cares. We can get the product or service anywhere. You might be able to deceive us into it, but there's no loyalty associated with a product or a service, a thing that doesn't build loyalty. Disney, back to it. You and I, we probably don't care about the next Disney movie coming out, right? It doesn't matter. Like how cool the product or service might seem. There's a belonging associated. My kids, they are going to want to see that movie, hands down. Not because of the movie, not the product or service, because they love the brand. They feel like they belong as part of that brand that identifies with them. The same is true of Tesla. He proved this concept, in my opinion. He went on stage, he sold a car, and that car, you could buy it by putting $1,000 reservation down, and you wouldn't get it for 2 to 3 years. Steve, you and I would not walk into a car dealership today, be told that same thing, and say, oh yeah, okay, sounds good. Just let me know when it's ready. Here's $1,000. That would not happen. Yep. He sold a vision, not a product or a service. And 180,000 very smart people with great credit scores put money down on that car. That is the power of vision and purpose. And for me, it starts with vision and then creating a fantastic culture. That culture is what attracts people to want to belong and say, oh, that aligns with who I am. So you attract leaders. You don't call leaders like Steve and say, hey, Steve, what's the least amount I can pay you? And shut up and dribble, by the way. Don't come and bring your own opinion. Do what I tell you to do. That's what small businesses are doing everywhere. And it is no wonder why 96% of businesses are losing within 10 years. We've wanted to look at the Elon Musks of the world, the Disneys of the world, see that there's formulas behind it. It's not conspiracy. There's formulas for growth built around vision, culture, and leadership that then make place for a marketer to do a very great job of saying, here's what we're building. Come and see.
Yeah, and we're going to take the politics out, whether you like Elon Musk or Walt Disney or don't. It doesn't matter. It's that it worked. I mean, 180,000 times 1,000 is millions of dollars he made on one stage.
That's
one
right.
vision that he put out there.
This
is
book,
a man
As
thinking.
a Man Thinketh, James Allen hits it right on the head. I read this at 16 years old with a dictionary by my side, and he talks about greatness comes from virtue. And the vices that exist, they're going to exist in all people. But if we want to really win, focus on the virtues and the vices and understanding how they affect your life, not the people that we want to label as a poor man or a rich man, and then focus in on their vices and say, well, their vices help. No, their vices did not help them win. Their virtues did. Can you spot the virtue in a person that is naturally as erroneous as we are?
That leads to a great question I've been wanting to ask you is vision and a servant leader. What do you see a servant leader's vision look like when you see somebody that is a servant leader?
That's a fantastic question. I'm going to take it in an unexpected direction, even for myself. As a kid, I hated service. I did. I hated it. Even as a young 20-year-old, I absolutely hated service. And it was because I had a misinterpretation of what service actually was. Growing up in Texas, we're pretty alpha-driven males that love to rah-rah. We have the best state, blah, blah, blah. And so our service projects consisted of mostly like doing yard work for people and heavy lifting and hard labor. And not that I don't like doing hard work, mine was a form of sports, but I didn't feel like I was really helping somebody by doing those activities. And so therefore I associated this idea of service with this negative experience that felt like a big waste of time. And again, it wasn't a waste of time. There were certainly elements of it, but where I really felt in my heart and didn't know it until years later, where I was actually serving somebody, was when my mouth would shut up and when I was able to listen to what's going on in their life. I happened to have been assigned at that time too to take care of a lot of older families in our church, with another older leader. And man, sometimes we literally listen to them talk about paint drying. I would fall asleep on the couch, these conversations. But sometimes, this little old lady who just lost her husband would call me her new boyfriend, and she just got such a kick out of it. Or we would invite him over and we'd play Uno with him. And I didn't appreciate that for service because it's like, well, you're a man. You're supposed to go out and trim the trees and do this and that. And we did those things too. But the profound effect of being a friend to somebody, of listening to somebody, of caring for their needs, of understanding that, there's a value to intellectually or emotionally being there for somebody, teaching somebody, teaching a group of kids, making friends with the person who's sitting alone at a table, asking the girl to dance that my sisters said, Jackson, if there's a girl who has not been asked to dance, you have better walk up to her and make sure that she gets the chance to dance with somebody. Those things, those are the elements of service that I tend to gravitate towards most and feel the most invigorated by. And so whatever you're doing as a business owner, if you're doing it for the sake of self-gain, right? If that's the end goal and that's what it's about, you're probably going to feel pretty miserable, is my guess. However, yeah. I think some of us also need to embrace the reality that sometimes we're taught service is something that we don't necessarily correlate with. And your acts of service, a lot of times, and I'll back off on this too, I think sometimes our misery is driven by the fact that we undermine the value of the service we provide on a daily basis. Whereas we should celebrate the fact that our small acts of kindness matter more than we give it credit for.
That's why when we first connected, we really connected, because that's what I tell people. Your service changes the universe. You go in and asking a girl to dance that's lonely and needs to dance where nobody else would. Did you get paid? Did your sisters get? No, you didn't get any of that. Your ROI, which will change your life completely, is the universe, the ether, whatever you want to call. And it's hard for people to comprehend, but vision helps with that, I would assume, right?
Oh my gosh, vision is critical to that. And for me, I can only speak for myself, but
Hmm.
I watched Steve Jobs' movie, right? And in it, is this pivotal line where he says, I'm going to make a dent in the universe. My feeling and thought immediately was, I do that every day.
And you say it
I
with
do that
confidence.
every day. I do
And
that
here,
we
yeah,
all do. We all have the chance to. Do we own it? Do we see it? Are we willing to celebrate it? Or are we just gonna let the world tear us down and tear the world apart and say, well, they're not good enough or we're not good enough? Like, you can choose to live with that type of a mindset. I choose to a much higher mindset of life is great. We have so much opportunity to bless people. Let's go out there and do it.
yeah. And when you go out and serve people, you're not special, Jackson. That's not that, but you're special because you take action like I do. I tell people all the time, anybody can do this. It's the old big egg on your head that changes the whole philosophy of this.
Yeah.
So, business, what is a mistake they make in their vision that you have to correct or that you work with?
One of the absolute hardest things to help a business owner get past, you could simplify it down to ego. Um, but we're not wise stewards of our brands. We don't know how to talk about finances. We get scared. There's so much, there's so many growth hacks that people are, I don't even want to call it falling victim to, but that are falling into because they're not wise stewards of what they're doing. They don't know the questions to ask. They don't do the hiring processes. They don't know how to check references if they even go and do it. There's so many corners cut, and everybody knows that get rich quick, has a negative taint to it, and like, oh my gosh, no, only the scammers go after that. But I see business owners all the time making get rich quick decisions. I see it in everything that they do. So it's one thing to avoid the word choice and to change the vernacular where it looks like you're not a get rich quicker. But at the end of the day, if you're hiring people to become your executives and they're not of executive form, that's a problem. If you're hiring these fractional C-level executives, most of them don't know what the letter C stands for. At least they don't act like it. They're not chiefs, right? And so what we end up doing as business owners, we hire people based on the maximum minimum, right, that they're willing to take, and then they become this amazing yes man. And the yes man doesn't just say yes. They're trying to keep their job too. They're in the same scarcity mindset that the small business owner is. And if they can, increase their lifetime value from a 2-month contract to a 4-month contract, they're going to do everything that they can in order to keep you a little bit longer because they're used to the revolving door that the CMOs and the fractionals go through. It's not only not sustainable, it's just asinine.
Yeah.
It's just terrible business practice. So what you can't teach somebody overnight how to have better relationships. You can't teach somebody overnight how to step into leadership and become a great leader. There is no instant cure for the experience of wisdom to take place. There are books like the E-Myth and like the Effective Executive, which is my mouse pad, by the way. Tribal Leadership I'm reading right now. There's 1 Minute Manager. There's Raving Fans. There's all sorts of materials. And any entrepreneur who says, well, I don't want to do or learn all that, or like, I just want somebody else to learn all that for me. It's like LeBron James saying, I don't want to do the workouts. I just want to play basketball.
Great analogy. Great analogy. And I always say short-term money is short. Long-term money lasts forever. Meaning, I can sell you today, but I didn't build a relationship. You're going to last 2 or 3 months as my customer, or I build a relationship, I sell you in a month, and you stay with me 2 or 3 years. So, audience, I want you to think about that. I talk about this on the show all the time. It's a powerful message.
I kind of have a controversial thought on that, though.
I love it. Bring it on. Yeah, love it.
I'm Christian, for
Yep.
background on that. Historical sake, the Bible also has, I think, an important amount of context. But if you look at the life of Job did not control his outcomes, right? It didn't matter, short-term, long-term money, and he knew it. And he got to a point where he was able to accept that and realize God giveth, God taketh away. The formulas, they do matter. The wise stewardship has a lot to do with like, okay, are we learning what we need to learn in order to be able to control the outcomes? But I'm also a big believer that we don't have full control over the external factors. The only thing I do have control over is how I show up as a leader. So if I happen to show up as a leader for 40 years and I'm lost in some money pit wilderness, Moses being lost for 40 years with his people in a very tiny zone. You can look at all sorts of dynasties that seem like they were supposed to survive or supposed to thrive, supposed to win. And this supposed to is a fabrication of our own mind trying to justify, our experiences. And we want to rationalize as human. We want to know that we understand the variables. But when we look at the science and the realities of science, we almost never do. Even the biggest studies out there are often proven wrong over time. Going too scientific on you, when I was growing up, centrifugal force was the law of science. And it was while I was in that science class at 15 years old, this was 16 years ago now, they realized, oh crap, we're wrong. It's actually centripetal force. That's the exact opposite of how we thought it worked. And there goes the, what's her name song? Out the window almost. Faith Hill's song.
Faith Hill, yep.
Yep. And so it was funny because we're poking fun of that in chemistry class. But my point is, we think we know it all as business owners, and why we achieved what we achieved, or why our marriage is successful, or why our business is successful. My greatest gift in life is the peace I have of knowing I don't control it all. I control me. And the outcomes that will come are designed for my good and for my benefit. And I got to keep working on being the best leader I can. And how do you balance that with caring about quarterly expectations or building a business? It's remembering to me that life is great, and I'm going to do everything I can to provide for all those who I'm meant to provide for. And that's it. And I'm going to rest happy on the fact that I did my best today.
How important is education to help a leader to grow?
I'm biased. StrengthsFinder 2.0 says my number one strength is learner. For me, learning is everything. And my report was very different, though. It said my wife had took the same report at the time from my first marriage, and we were both learners. Hers was all about books and study and curriculum and classes. Mine said nothing about that. They said the opposite. So you love to ask people questions. You won't finish a book if you don't want to. You learn from experiences. You don't need curriculum. You talk too much, probably, right? There's a lot of really interesting things where I was like, wow, I had never in my life been validated for being a learner until I had that study. And then I was like, okay, I am not a bad student. I'm just a different type of student.
Yeah, and I like that because people I talk to and people listening are like, I'm not a book reader. You just told them you can still educate yourself without reading a book. It's not
a
vital.
book reader. I am an audio. I listen to books, and I watch movies, and I go to YouTube and I grab the shorts. That's how I read Atomic Habits. Was I watched some animation thing related to Atomic Habits, and it was the author of the book doing that, taking his own information to the next level. Yes, lots of ways to learn.
So powerful and easy. This microwave world, we got to make it simpler and easier for people. We're coming to the end here. What last words you want to leave the audience in regards to business and vision?
Your vision. If your vision is aligned between your heart and your mind, that is a great sign that you are on the right track. I would caution that if you're just following your heart, there's a lot of people who end up in very abusive relationships that justify an answer to a prayer and say, I felt that this thing was the right direction to go in, when all the logic and all the friends and family are telling them no, like you're missing something here. On the flip side, there's a lot of business owners who have that no-brainer deal. That's no-brainer. Everything makes perfect sense. It's, how could we fail in this? And the next thing you know, you see them on the curb a month later. And they had this gut feeling, right, that it wasn't the right thing to do. And they'll admit that later. And there was just gut feeling. And gut feeling is just a macho way of saying my heart. Somebody doesn't want to talk about feelings.
Yeah.
If we take the time, sometimes you can do meditation a lot of ways. I walk for meditation. I do like to move for it. But if I have an answer that aligns in my heart and mind, I know I've got something I need to run with. If I don't, then it's not something I should be scared of, but it is definitely something I need to study out and explore more and see, can I connect the logic to it before I emotionally react like an animal and run forward? Or can I connect my heart to it before I just logically sign, even though my body or something within me is trying to tell me, you need to think about this more. It does not hurt to take a few extra days or to run that theory by a mentor who's going to destroy it. You can still make the decision to move forward with it, but exploring things from multiple angles is something that we, as species, I think our ego gets in our way, and we end up trying to, justify a plan forward based on one factor or the other. Your vision comes from both, and you have it within you. There's nobody else who can give that to you.
Well said. The heart and mind aligned. Thank you. And write that down, audience. I wrote it down here because that's so important. You're right. Our heart says, yeah, but our mind says, but we're going to still push through. And I'm just verifying, recapping. That is $1 million tip right there. That'll save people thousands of dollars. So thank you. This has been an absolute incredible show. But with that, I want people to reach out to you. So how can they find you?
visionproslive.com is the best way to apply. You can click the little button that says be our guest to be a guest on our show. passionpro.org is where you can go to get the passions assessment. And of course, you can just look up Jackson Calame. My SEO is so good. No, I'm the only Jackson Calame on the planet. So I get the benefit of showing up on Google.
It's still SEO, even it's still SEO right. in that SEO realm. So, hey, thanks again, Jackson. My mind's spinning right now. There's so many tidbits I have written down. But audience, as I always say, especially this show at Jackson, all this information, go through with the forward and reverse buttons on the podcast platform you're using or the YouTube. You know why it's there? So you can listen over and over and over these incredible tips he gave you. We would love for you to watch and listen to the whole show, but I'm speaking for Jackson. We've talked about this. If we take 5 minutes of the show or 7 minutes of the show and it changes your life, we're good to go. I want to thank you all. Before I thank you, my swag, get my hats, hoodies, t-shirts, doing business with a servant's heart. You know what? Share that message, wear it on your body and share it out there. Let's change the world. And don't forget my TV show, doing Together We Serve, Fridays at 2 p.m. Pacific at 5 p.m. Eastern. And last but not least, thank you all for watching and listening. Me and Jackson, thank you tremendously and look forward to seeing you all in the next show, next episode. Talk to you soon.